Hi guys, we're back in Marzipan land, and now I am making fruit. I have added ginger this time with the cinnamon and the vanilla. It is a pretty dry consistency, but we're going to add the food coloring, which should be interesting because I don't know which food coloring I made. So I'm guessing this is orange, but it could be yellow. So we're going to go ahead and just see how it turns out. Let me just push it down in here. If it gets too yellowy, then oops, on the board. Uh-oh. Get it away from our others. See if we can make it really yellow. I think we're going to have an issue with this because the cinnamon is in here and it's made it so dark. I'm going to add some more powdered sugar because God knows it can't hurt the situation to try and dry up some of this food coloring, but it looks like it may not just be yellow that we need. And definitely it's going to need more powdered sugar, so diabetics beware. I put way too much food coloring in here. It's my fault. But everything's an experiment in life. I mean, you live and you learn and you make mistakes. So, yeah, this is a yellow for certain. Yeah, this is definitely yellow. It's not the yellow color that I'd like, but it is yellow. So, I'm going to go ahead and add a few drops of straight yellow and see if that doesn't improve our situation or if it makes it worse. We will have to see. So I'm going to keep working the dough, see if I can get it to a yellow color. Marzipan is great to work with because it's just like working with chili putty. I mean, you can do anything with it. The only thing about it is it's not white. So you're not starting out with a white dough to begin with anyways. So, and then I don't help the matter by adding vanilla extract and by adding cinnamon either. So this definitely looks like it could be yellow, but it's not the color that I need it to make pears. So we're going to add more more powdered sugar, excuse me. Gosh, brown sugar would really send us down the hole, wouldn't it? And see if we can't get this to be somewhere close to the yellow that I need. I was uploading the other video of our pumpkins and the earlier pumpkin video I made, and believe it or not, it was too long. And I uploaded it anyways. Hopefully it turned out okay. I haven't had a chance to check it on YouTube because YouTube says it was busy processing it. So we'll see how that one turned out, if it turned out at all. If not, then we lived and we learned. I, again, will not cry about a learning experience. So I'll know not to do it like this again. I'll just add ginger. I won't add cinnamon next time. So let's see where we're at here. We are at, it's a very sticky ball. Put my fingers in some water. And it is not quite the color I wanted it to be. So I'm going to warn you now, we are not going to end up with what we should have ended up with, but that does not mean that, first of all, kids aren't real picky. I've noticed that about kids, that they're a lot more generous than adults are, and they really are like, whatever you give me candy-wise is fine as long as it's candy. So I can't really fault the kids. It's more of, I just want to make this perfect for them and for my son. So I, of course, will not make it perfect for them or my son because I am starting out with an imperfect product, but I will give it my best shot. So anyways, I'm going to turn these into little balls again, and they would be much lighter. Now when it gets too sticky, you stick your fingers in water, and I'm going to start making them into pairs, and really wet pears apparently, but I'm going to have to re-roll that one because this one is not turned out. Should just come out just like such. Okay, so I have one little pear. Not really fantastic, but we're starting. Okay, so I go on and I move on to my next one. And we do the exact same thing. We just roll it, get a little water on the end of our fingers, roll the end of it. Now you know why they charge so much for cakes and such, because they're not the easiest things in the world to make. So we will roll another one. And I apologize, it's kind of a waste of time to watch me roll these things, but you know, that's part of the process. So I'll put that one there. I won't say they're phenomenal looking pears. Actually, of the products that I've been producing, the pumpkins came out far better than the pears did. But again, like I said, it's a learning process. It's the first time I've done this, and really, if a candy looks good but tastes horrible, is it still candy? I mean, is it worth it? Because to me, it's gotta meet both criteria. It's gotta look good and it's gotta taste phenomenal. And so, that's what I'm going for. Obviously, it's not going to look fantastic here because these are pretty dark pears. But I have seen pears similar to being this dark. So I'm not going to say that it's the worst pear in the world. I'm not going to say it's the best pear, but it's a start. Then I have to put stems in, but I'm going to move on to making, because I paint these too. I mean, they go through a painting process. And so, I don't want these to look too contrived, but almost spun and turned. That one's a bit floppy. Okay. There we go. Okay. So, I'm going to move on now. I'm going to be much more judicious with the food coloring. And we're going to just add the green now. Let's see if we can get the green going without it being a complete disaster. Okay. So here we go. We're mixing the green up. And I'm still putting probably too much. I mean, it's still going to come out a little bit darker. But I'm also starting with a darker palette. That probably is 90% of my problem. So I'm just going to mix this up until this green is completely mixed in here. Because I want these apples to come out really well. Still going to have to fix that one pear. Really looks pretty soggy. Okay, so that's the green. I think that's a pretty good green. The stuff under my nails is food coloring, guys. It's not dirt. I wash judiciously. I'm like a fanatic about washing. So just before you guys go, oh my gosh, JT's got stuff under her nails. JT doesn't. JT has food coloring under her nails. And JT is not camera ready, but JT is clean. And JT would not make things that weren't clean for her child. Okay, so I'm going to start cutting these, and I'm just going to cut them so that I can make apples out of them. That's what we're going to make out of these, is apples. So I'm going to roll them. I'm going to kind of flatten the bottom. Flatten the bottom there. Now, interestingly enough, these are going to be probably a little more difficult to put a stem in. Majorly because, not the apples, but the pears, because they're thinner on the top. Okay. Just to the tell you what, this is a good arm workout. Okay, so for the pears, I'm going to take the end of a Q-tip. That's what we call them, if I can take the end of a Q-tip. That's what we call them here in the U.S. I do not know what they're called abroad. And I'm going to poke it down into the top of, let me show you. And you take one of the pears, you poke it down into the top, same as before, right? And then I'm going to take just, an itty tiny piece. Here's the part about this, is that I don't really need a huge stem on my pear. So here's my pear and my pear stem. I mean, it's not great, but it's not horrible either. With a little, little fixing up there, it might be presentable. And I'm going to continue with these as I go. I have 6 actually of each. So let me stick this one down in here. And then this one in here.